I'm breathing. Air. Air!
Thanks for stopping by Big Top Gaming. My name's Brian, and Ethan will be here shortly. But before that, I wanted to knock out a small update to the channel. If you pay attention to the loose schedule that I follow, I try to hit out a video a week for each game that I play, and then there's just a few that pop in addition. But last week I had missed all of that, and that's just because my air conditioning unit had broken down. So due to the heat in my place, it was just not easy to do any gaming or filming or painting or anything. So that's been replaced now, and we're getting back into it. So look forward to getting that weekly video content from us on the regular. Otherwise, let's kind of just jump into this Warmachine battle report. The list I'm bringing today is Jarl in Storm of the North. So I don't think many people conceptualize Jarl as a decent caster or warlock for this type of setup, but he has quite a few good buffs that this list doesn't mind. I'm bringing the pretty traditional like champion brick with the stone and a full unit of long riders, and the real reason for taking Storm of the North, in my opinion, is because you get access to the bears, and having two of those in this list is really nice. They kind of funnel your opponent towards the middle of the table because they're quite threatening from the sides, and in the middle of the table you've got two highly mobile units because Jarl can put out Quicken on whatever needs it, and the champions and long riders really don't need any help hitting anything, and we end up getting a lot of great buffs from the Cold Stone in terms of speed, so the list should be able to hit quickly and really start tearing our opponent apart from there. Jarl ends up bringing some great scalpeling tools with having Black Penny and Magic Bullet, and the feat is nice for getting the army to where it needs to be. In terms of battle group, the Beast kind of support themselves. The Mauler doesn't need any real input from Jarl, and the Bomber just kind of has a little bit more effect on things that the list might not have the greatest time into. Plus, this also gives us access to Far Strike, which Jarl really appreciates having a 16-inch gun.
And I'm Ethan again. Today I'm playing Kromac the Ravenous, which I'll be calling Bromac. So Kromac 1 got a Druid Wilder as a rec option, Ghetorix, Gorax, double Stalker, double Woldwyrds for proccing some Warpath moves, Well of Orboros for a 16-inch Bestial, 3 Warwolves for the rec options for contesting, Free Lord of the Feast, min unit of Wolves of Orboros for ambush contesting, and then 2 units of Shifting Stones, just for Shifting Stones jank. So I won the roll to decide, and I chose the go first because Kromac has a lot of upkeeps that he wants to get out. And then one thing to note is I cannot find my Ghetorix upgrade kit because I have the old metal one, and I like magnetized it with one of my Stalker chassis. So I had to use the metal Pureblood as my Ghetorix this game just because he stands out. There's Kromac. He put up Warpath, and then he put up Wild Aggression on the bottom Stalker. Because from my deployment, you can see all the way up on top, I have a Warwolf, followed by a Woldwyrd, or not Warpwolf, I have a Warwolf, Woldwyrd, Stalker, Ghetorix, Kromac, Gorax behind me, another Warwolf, Warpwolf, and then another Weird, and then another Warwolf just for contesting. Those Shifting Stones go up behind the cloud where they're going to hide most of the game until I feel like it's safe enough to score that zone. And then just running up turn 1, pretty much.
Yeah, it really feels like and it's probably just me not playing against Circle a bunch right now, but most of the time when I see stones, they kind of seem to just be in this space of like they're a cheap unit to score things with that are durable. Like I don't feel like my priority number one when I used to play against Circle was that I would always try to go for a stone, like break a stone and then don't worry about it. But nowadays I feel like the stones aren't always the biggest part of my concern. It's like I'll deal with them when I have to, but for the most part they don't seem to be as threatening as they once were.
No, with the teleporting have to be completely within 8 instead of 8 plus base. All the heavies in Circle charge farther than the port except for ram hands because he's only speed 4. But even then, like, But like you said, they're a 3-point contest model, a good scoring unit, especially for this theme because when they combined Wild Hunts with the Wolves Warboros theme, like, none of the infantry in that theme is really good. Like, the only reason the Wolves Orboros are in this list is because they have ambush.
Yeah. No. Also, as a small side, we got some sweet new zones. Muson Minis ended up creating some custom zones for the channel. I think it's cool that it's like the logo, but I can imagine that... I know that Crippled System did one of these a while ago where they took their logo and then just put it over the grass background. That might be something cool to do in the future, but I really enjoy these, so if you're looking for anything zone-wise, Muson Minis is a good one to go with.
Yeah, I think these zones look pretty cool.
I think so, too. So I think for the past like 10 or 15 Warmachine games I've played, I've always gotten the roll to go first. So I really would have preferred that Jarl get first turn on this one because his feat really works well for taking first turn. And the threat ranges that you have are significant enough to me, and with especially berserking overtakes, that I really don't want to have to worry too much about. I want to try and like feat early because I'm on the back foot. I already feel like I'm kind of on the back foot because like I can't get super close with Jarl. Not that I need to, but I do have to be mindful of Bestial so I don't mess up my magic bullet casting or anything like that, even though I've got a Runebearer, so there's that. But Jarl isn't the most survivable in the universe either, and he wants to do a lot, so having all that fury doesn't really happen for him for transfers, so I just feel like turn 2 is going to be rough for me. You can see where I put out my little cloud things, or not clouds, but the snow drifts that it really is a big bummer that the Mauler or the beasts don't get Northkin with this. It's just the warrior models, because like not having Pathfinder for those is a real bummer. But I end up switching up here because for whatever reason I can't find my 4-inch AoEs. I had to steal some from Ethan and then use some of my Kodiak deals. But I end up feeding right away with Jarl and get 4 or 5. Yeah, I get 5 AoEs to throw down. And I feel like this allows my battle group to come up a little bit further. I do feel like, in hindsight, I definitely should have put these clouds a little further up. Just because the big thing that I was worried about is a 0 camp Jarl with Lord of the Feast hanging out there. But with no crockpot, it doesn't make it so bad for me, but I do feel like there was just some way that the Lord of Feast would get those corpses, maybe from the stone.
Yeah, I think we talked about it, because the well can shoot dudes and then give the corpses, so if I need to in a pinch, I can run all 3 Warwolves, because I can collect corpses for my own models, run them into a triangle, high explosive boost to damage, and then send 3 corpses to the Lord of the Feast across the table.
Yeah.
It's stupid, but it works.
And that's with no camp on Jarl, because I put 3 upkeeps out this turn. Those long riders on top have Weld Secrets, so they can get natural Pathfinder to get over that wall. And then the stone unit has tactical supremacy, so they can walk, awaken, and then reposition up. And then the champions have quicken because they've got a fell collar that's hanging out by them, and they also have relentless charge. So I've got a lot of options for being able to get through the table. Like, I think a lot of people disregard Jarl as a really good warlock for this theme, but every single unit is extremely impactful, and every single one of Jarl's upkeeps end up fixing a problem that they have. It's almost like whenever you build trolls, you always kind of have like this bloat of support because the stone is already there, and you're, instead of getting like a super do work requisition, you end up taking a fell collar. Not that he doesn't do work, but it's still something that's going to be hanging around in the back of the table. So Jarl being able to deal with Pathfinder and speed up things, he feels really good. for trying to bring something to the list that doesn't really need anyone to help like crack armor or anything like that.
And he really loves the free upkeeps. We're both playing casters that have 3 upkeeps.
Yeah, 3 of them. Yeah.
I get 1 free upkeep with the Wilder, but you upkeeping, and that's the only reason she's even in this list. Like, I haven't played her since Mark II, but like Kromac needs that free upkeep.
Yeah, if Jarl doesn't have, like, that's the other real big benefit for Jarl. It's probably the main benefit for him is like all the units become Northkin, so I can upkeep spells for free on them, and being able to cast Magic Bullet and shoot and boost, like it's perfect for him.
Yeah, he loves it. So going into Jarl's feet, I got a few options. We measured Lord of the Feast. We used some steppers to make sure that he couldn't walk around the obstruction and get into the cloud and shoot to the back line. So there's nothing really he's going to do much this turn. He's hiding behind that obstruction, and the well summoned a
Blackclad.
Yeah, the Blackclad Wayfarer for some Hunter's Mark just from extra threat ranges. And I think, I'm not sure what's going on here.
I feel like one of us was looking for something. No, you're just kind of twiddling.
Yeah, you look like you're digging through my bag for something.
Oh, it wasn't steppers.
Oh,
it was the laser, right?
Yep, but you're looking for the laser. So I'm ambushing the Wolves of Orboros up on the top, and then like, because I was thinking about doing some cute Sikkim charges up there, and then trying to jam up the Long Riders. But then like, I think literally after we deploy them, I realized like, wait, why didn't I go for the bottom side and take off your Pathfinder bot?
Yeah, the Fell Collar is a pretty important piece for that side. It means that Jarl doesn't have to juggle Weld Secrets when he needs to. They do have Relentless Charge, so that it's going to be rough for them if they don't, if they're not charging, like if they're just running. But I was worried about the Fell Collar going down to those wolves, but here we are.
Yeah. And then there I'm just measuring their quick and charge threats because I'm trying to decide. I can do some cute moves where I can maybe get some warpaths and then trample into the clouds, but then I realize like with Sanguine Bond, it's not really worth throwing a Stalker away. And there, yep, I was thinking about that Werewolf running the engage. There's me pointing out like, man, why didn't I charge him in the butt and run the Werewolf for a Sikkim charge?
Yeah.
But you live and learn. I think on the top side, that's fine.
I think it's that Long Riders are just so threatening that you want to try and do everything you can to get rid of them, because like the Bull Rush order is nasty, and being able to do the follow-up attack after that really hurts too. They just kind of become this really big bully unit, and it's unfortunate that the stone is kind of positioned the way that it is. I kind of have to pick a side for the stone to go on, and I didn't really do that, I don't think.
Yeah, you kind of kept it in the middle. And when my heavies are armor 17 base, like 3 Long Riders will kill a Warpwolf. Like,
yeah, that's 4 POW 14s and 3 of them are boosted.
Yeah, and then that's if you don't slam me into something.
Yeah.
So there I'm just moving Ghetorix Rex up to try and maybe make a play next turn for the objective, because I'm going to hide him behind the obstruction, and my plan is I can warpath around it and then charge the objective next turn if I need to, or maybe even get anything that's towing that zone. So like Warpath gives you a lot of options, and I love Kromac 1. He was one of my favorite casters in Mark 2 until Kromac 2 came out, because Kromac 2 is just a ball of joy.
You were having problems with runes in EE, and then Kromac 2 came out and solved all your issues.
Oh,
that's what really happened.
He was so good in the runes.
I think we had to have played at least 30 games with that one matchup of runes into Kromac 2 so I could try and figure out how to beat it, and I just could not do it.
Yeah. Back when he had Primal Howl.
Yeah, it was harsh.
So Kromac moved up. He put in Viable Resolve on Ghetorix and then put up Bestial. So he's only camping, I believe, 1 at this point, because, 3, 5. No, he should be on 2. Because upkeep 1 spell for free thanks to Wilder. Puts him down to 6 for upkeeping the other one. Bestial for 3 and Viable Resolve for 2. Yep, so he's sitting on 1. There, the Weird moved up. And then just popping some shots. With Purgation, it can get some good hits in.
Yeah, your Woldwyrds get work done this game, just because I don't want to not have my upkeeps out, because Pathfinder is really important on the Long Riders, and having the huge threat range on the champions is really helping me out this game. But I know that I'm going to take some casualties because of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everything in my army has an upkeep on it except for the beasts and the solos.
Yep, and that's what Woldwyrds love to see, and that's why they're in here. They're very good Warpath triggers.
Yeah.
And then I left that guy knocked down on one box when he tough, so a werewolf is charging him with some sweet power 11 bite.
Yeah, you don't need much to get him, so he goes down. And I've lost. I know I kind of dangled a couple long riders out there, but I feel like I was trying to start peace trades, but with that Woldwyrd, I just didn't like. I knew that it was going to do work to them, but I didn't conceptualize how much it was going to do. And then the Warwolf was able to come in and clean some stuff up, so I didn't really like gain anything over here by leaving any of those out.
And it wasn't the weird that shot; it was the well.
Oh,
the well boosted a shot into that front guy because I was trying to bait out the Dhunian, stopping it. So he did not stop it, so I left. He toughed it. So now with the Warwolf killing, the Woldwyrd's able to move up with the Warpath move to be in aim range of the guys behind the wall. Mm-hmm. So now he's aims to a rat 8 with purgation. So like even the wall doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that was. I feel like I don't think that my Dhunian pick for this turn was a bad one. I just feel like keeping that long rider around with the Archon probably would have been the better call here. Mm-hmm. I think it was holding out for something juicy, and losing a long rider for nothing really was kind of not super great for me.
Yep. And then there's me measuring out where I want to do my next Warpath move, and I'm deciding, do I want to Warpath 3 inches forward, trample, and then start swinging? But I think this is where we talk about Sanguine Bond, shutting down Berserk. So it's not really worth throwing away a Warpwolf to maybe kill 2 champs.
Yeah, I would have loved it if you'd give me a Warpwolf right away, because like if you're gonna try and manufacture through my feet to try and get like maybe 2 or 3 champions, I'll easily take that trade just to not have to deal with that stupid werewolf again.
Mm-hmm. And then there I ended up Warpath moving the Woldwyrd because we look it up and his clouds only give -2 to attack if you're living. So I was outside of range of walking into the cloud, but now with the Warpath move, I can walk into the cloud and shoot. And then there I'm resolving his other shot. I think he left one of the dudes on just a couple boxes, and there measuring if I can charge and get to that back guy that I left on 2, but I can't really reach there.
Yeah, I think he was left on 1. Like not tough and then 1, but he was just left on 1 box.
Yep. And then there, he's helping me out doing some charges. There I was measuring to see if I could run and engage the Runebearer, but I'm just out.
Yeah, you were about 2 inches out of being able to engage him.
And where the werewolf is, you can't really see it because of the rock. He's positioned where he can't fit over the wall. What I'm going to be doing, a 5-man CMA into the guy in the back and 1 on the front guy. So if I can kill that front guy with the 5-man and then the 1 guy tags the back guy, I can sick him charge over the wall.
Yeah, because then you open up that gap and you can get in there and then take a couple more long riders. And that's just like free points and poopy wolves that are doing that. So doing something like that I have to spend actual real activations to try and get rid of is tough.
Yep, and they left him on 1 box, so if I had done a 6-man, it would have been a tough check. And there I'm just trying to see if maybe I can sick him over the wall, but it'd be out of my melee. So I think I end up just sick him charging just to be blocking him. And like when you combine 3 Warwolves with sick him charges, we were talking about it mid-game, in Mark II, like with Storm Rager, I half held a conquest with 4 Warwolves with Grail's theme.
Yep, and then I couldn't go anywhere.
That was super fun.
Yep, that was rough.
I still own 4 Warwolves just in case I want to summon a 4th one for funsies.
That's worth it.
Lord of the Feast is just dancing around. He's got no corpses, so I don't feel comfortable sending him in this turn, or even like giving you any line to him, so he's just hiding behind the rock. Weird goes up, starts shooting some champs. So even with Quicken, putting him up to def 14, I have Purgation. They are in stone barely. I was hoping you weren't.
Also, that hill is it's rough terrain, not rubble, so they're not getting a benefit from that either.
Yeah. There, I'm just boosting some shots.
I think I juggled a couple. Like one of those shots only did 2 wounds, so I juggled them to some guys in back. And then this one blew the damage up, so I just decided to take a tough check and didn't quite make her.
Yeah, because that's the Sanguine Bond problem. If you roll too well, they'll just kill 1 dude. If you roll too bad, they'll just spread it out.
Yeah.
And with the UA having 8 wounds, it just gives you such like breathing room. Oh yeah, I should say we both took the healing objective. I don't think we ever said that.
No, we didn't. I took it just because like I've got a lot of boxes around in between the Dhunian and Sanguine Bond. It really seems good for me. For you though, I think Eyeless Sight might have been a better one.
Yeah, literally as soon as we did the roll and like I started moving, I'm like, man, I took the wrong objective. I was like, I know his feet does clouds. I'm like, what? Why?
Yeah.
There, I'm just measuring, make sure he can't get some charges. So Stalker's just going to toe that zone and be threatening, because I threaten a lot. The Warpath moves and Ghetorix's Bond is Overtake. Like he can just daisy chain through, and then you gotta just respect it. Their Shifting Stone's just teleporting out of bear threat. And that's my turn. I did forget to move that bottom Warwolf, so Brian was nice enough to let me run him just outside ambush threat.
Yeah, exactly, because then I just get it with bears for free. Yeah. So on my turn, my feet helped-ish. I mean, like, the reason why I was like, why I should have just went further up was because I needed to try and get Ethan's army inside my threat so I could get the first connection, but Ethan was able to stay far back enough because I was pretty coy with it because I was worried about Lord of the Feast coming in and messing things up. So now I've kind of got to force some weird engagements, and the best way for me to try and do that, I think, right now is by getting the bears on the table. One side has, of course, great charge targets, and the other side has jack nothing to get into. So I think I'm kind of hemming and hawing about where I want to put these because typically when I ambush bears, I'd like them to go on different sides. But I was like, do I just put these bears on the same side and try and go after something? Like the Woldwyrd is just out of ambush threat, so like that's not great for him. So I figure with one unit of bears, I can probably get most of the unit of Wolves of Orboros. Like, they're easy to hit, easy to kill, especially in the butt.
Yeah, they're 13-12. They just die.
Yeah, with having a 1-inch reach on everything in the unit, it's not difficult for me to just take out 5 guys in one shot.
And I was worried that maybe you would ambush both units on the bottom and just flood that zone, because my list... Like, we have very polar lists. Like, mine is a big battle group with barely nothing. You have a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, a whole bunch. My list is real wide, and yours is very concentrated.
Yeah,
so
my points are tied up in, like, my heavies. Like, my 3 heavies run me about 60 points almost.
Yeah, that's rough.
50s. No, about, like, 53.
I just fill out my beast points in my list.
Yeah.
But so they're off camera because the angle's a little wonky, but... The bottom bears the bottom screen bears ambush just opposite the zone. I have a feeling that I can try and I'm really confident that I can get 2 points this turn. Mm-hmm. And if I start scoring early and then force Ethan to have to kind of split his army to go into 2 different spots to start clearing things off, it means that Kromac's less likely to have any real impact on the middle of the table because he's got to get into this balancing beam of keeping the stuff he puts into the top zone in control so he doesn't so it doesn't flip out or do anything weird, and then make sure that the bottom zone is also there too so he doesn't have problems there. So first off, I end up charging those bears in on the side, and my first bear ends up missing his first attack, which is super duper unfortunate for him. Mm-hmm. I wanted to get 5 dudes in this one, but I'm only getting 4. So that leaves 2 wolves of Orboros and 1 wolf, the Warwolf, left in kind of tying up those long riders, because I want my long riders to go off and do something with their lives instead of just sitting here behind this wall doing nothing.
And normally the Power 9 free strikes wouldn't matter, but like I left one of the guys on 1 box and one of them on 2.
Yeah, because I think the Dhunian kicked it. Like when you killed the champion or something, I think the Dhunian kicked him up by 1.
Yep.
So now I got to figure out how to do all this, and I think my best bet is to first get the Dhunian Archon to smash the Warwolf that's engaging my Mauler. I don't really know what I want to do with the Mauler right now, because if I try to put it up forward, any Warwolf or any Warpwolf is going to just get it, and I don't want that to happen. Like, it's even with the stone, armor 20 with 32 boxes, I think is what they have. 34 boxes is not real hard for a Warpwolf to get rid of.
I mean, they get up to Power 19 by warping strength. Like, I'd have to primal. Yeah. And primaling my 17-point Warpwolves or my 19-point Ghetorix is always like, I've primaled a Storm Raptor before, and let me tell you, that feels awful.
Yeah, no, but you do what you got to do, right? So,
Yeah.
speaking of doing what you have to do, the Dhunian Archon missed by 1 here, so the Mauler had to go and take care of the wolf, and then we punched him, we boosted, we riled a little bit because we know that I'm going to need some more fury to make sure this works. And then I flipped my little snowdrifts out, and now my wonderful dire troll Mauler that can't get through that stupid patch of rough terrain because he's not Northkin is going to sit there for a while.
That's his home.
Yep.
But he is towing the zone at least.
He is. He's in the zone, so he's not effective, but at least he's not like in a likely spot for Ghetorix to just go in and nerf him. I mean, like with Warpath things get different, but like that obstruction is not immaterial because like we use the base as like the full obstruction, and then the rock is just for the most part decorative, but you can't like the whole thing is just like a 120.
Mm-hmm. And there we were measuring my bestial. I always pronounce it wrong.
I think it's bestial. Yeah,
bestial. I'm going to say bestial from now on. Measuring to see if you could walk out backwards, get the magic bolt yourself, and still be in the kill box because my control range is 16 inches with the well.
Yeah,
and we figured out there's a 2-inch buffer because I'm just barely towing the zone 8 inches up, so that means bestial threatens 18 plus 16 to the 34. So there's a 2-inch bubble.
Yep. So the reason why that was really important was because the Jarl ends up going, the Runebearer put Magic Bullet on him, and then I'm shooting into Wolves of Orboros. I've got Black Penny, so I hit easy. I bounce the Magic Bullet, kill the Warwolf, and I kill the Druid the Wolf of
Orboros.
I know that everything is wolf, blah, 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 blah.
Ooh.
So it's it's a nasty tongue tire. So now I've kind of screwed myself though because that Dhunian Archon is in my way. Between the Dhunian and the Mauler, or the Dhunian and one of the Long Riders, I can't draw a line to that last wolf to shoot it. And this is also my inexperience with Magic Bullet. And I didn't realize I could just shoot my own guy and bounce a Magic Bullet. I thought you'd have to shoot an enemy model to bounce to an enemy model.
Nope.
So there's just that one wolf hanging out there. So I decided to take a shot into the objective just to put some extra points on it. But really what probably should have happened here is that Jarl shoots a bear, and whatever, it's not going to do a ton of damage, or doesn't have, I don't even think it has the opportunity to one round it.
No, dice minus 5.
Yeah.
At best, you leave it on 1.
So that would have been the better thing to do, to just bounce the bullet into the wolf and get rid of it, because he's engaged with 2 Long Riders. One of them's full health and doesn't care about a free strike. The other one has 1 box left, or 2 boxes left. And that is not something that I want to take a free strike from, because if you roll a boosted 10, like, it's dead.
That pound 9 stick, like, I'll never make fun of their sticks again. No, I probably will.
Yeah.
And then there, I knew I was going to have to give up some weirds for you. So there you're just kind of doing some charges.
Yeah, I figured 2 champions can take out a weird just fine, but now I've got to put these guys in places where they matter, because, like, my Mauler is in danger from a Warpath move to charge and then just roast him off the table. And then there's a Stalker on the other side, so I kind of need to block him off, and I figure the best way for me to do this is just run champions into it. It's not the greatest idea in the universe, but, like, I don't have a lot of jamming potential in this list, so I need to jam with high-value stuff and just hope I have enough left over to be able to let my battle group and Jarl do the work they need to into this really hefty list.
Mm-hmm. And there I think we just didn't care, and you did the fell call because they don't have path
Yeah,
base.
we had to rewind things because they have relentless charge, but when they run they don't get it, so like we just backed it up a little bit to make it so that the fell caller did what he needed to do first.
And POW 12 up masters are just chewing through a poor weirdy.
Yeah, they takes all of the attacks from them, but it was, I'm pretty sure the 2 were going to get it, so it happens, so we clear that out.
Yep, and I reaved it.
And now I noticed that this bottom zone only has the Warwolf in there now. There's no stone that came in to try and contest with it, so the best thing for me to do with the bomber is to just walk up, far strike it, and then shoot a bomb at this wolf to get it out of there. I still need a 12 to hit, or not a 12, I still need a 7 to hit you, but boosting that just gets an easy, and then dice, an 8, sorry. So I at least get 2 shots at it, but I only needed the 1, and I get it out of there, and then I finally get to use Swift Hunter on Jarl. I never thought I'd get to do it.
I know. I forgot it even had that, and so you said that. I was like, oh.
Yeah. So the bears on the bottom screen, their whole purpose was to just score this zone, because I don't have anything else to really get in here to do it. So they run up in a fashion where I feel like I'm trying to respect the Berserk 2-inch melee thing on the werewolf or the Warpwolf. I think like I eyeballed it, and I feel like I've got a pretty good ring here. So we'll see how that ends up going. But I feel like just ambushing them to score the zone is fine. It gives me some momentum and puts Ethan up against the wall a little bit. Mm-hmm. Now this is some garbage, but I gave the Long Riders a bull rush order, and the one that charged the weird bull rush, or he slams. The one that charges, I tried to bull rush the slam to the Blackclad so I could go into the Lord of the Feast and get rid of it. But based on where I was, it was really questionable if I could actually get the slam by going directly towards it. So I ended up just doing the charge instead and saying I'm not going to screw with it. The free strike, though, does quite a bit of damage to the one that left melee. I think he got left on just a couple boxes.
Oh, he only did like 3 damage.
Oh no, I was just adjusting from before because I'm bad at adjusting my life totals.
Yeah, that's why I always use the
dials.
Yeah, the dials are so nice.
But the other Long Rider stays in back. We end up connecting with that Blackclad and just crush the damage roll on it. That was the follow-up attack because like the Long Riders can slam and then follow up. So my hope was to just push him out of the zone, even though I would need some really good dice to make that happen.
And you missed the slam.
I missed the slam. Yeah. So it was so traumatizing that I didn't want to tell you that I missed the slam because I was like, this was my big play, and I just shit the bed. So
I mean, with the woods behind him, you'd have to roll pretty decent.
Like I said, I need a 3 to get there. Looking at it now, but if I would have shot that bear, got rid of that other wolf, I think with 4 POW 14s into that Woldwyrd, that the Long Riders just roast it.
Yeah, it probably just dies.
So that was a real rough thing to have to come to terms with, but I moved on and just got the stone up. They awaken, they put up the aura, and at this point in the turn, what they choose for the cold stone portion of it doesn't really matter. So we're just kind of sitting here in the middle doing what trolls do with the core of the stone, and everyone else is just kind of trying to rally from that
Troll's gonna brick.
Slam.
So going in the top of 3, I'm down by 1 control point, which is, it's good. I'm glad he didn't score 2 because Kromac is on the back foot, gets kind of stretched thin with all of my resources because a lot of my points are tied up in heavies that have expensive activations.
Yeah, your scoring pieces are going to be Kromac and those stones for those side zones, and stones are just like you trickle them in and hope your opponent doesn't kill them, but it doesn't take a lot to nerf a stone.
Not when you have bombers and Jarl shooting.
Yeah.
Like, you have enough boosted guns where it's like, eh.
And that's with Far Strike, you've got like a 21-inch up to 23-inch range with all that if you quicken. So like Jarl can just go where he wants to.
Yep. So I upkept all my upkeeps. So I'm on 5 because I upkept one of them for free. And now I'm just trying to plan out. So I see that wolf is not engaged. So I think we're going to start measuring if I can try and get a charge on that back guy. But like I'm so close in there that there's no.
Yeah, I know you wanted to get that Long Rider freed up out of there, but it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, I needed like a hard 10 or hard 11.
Yeah.
So I think that one was the one that was on 1. Mm-hmm. So I'm just planning through here. And then I'm also deciding, I'm thinking about feeding with Kromac, which is always risky. And there I'm measuring if I can get all 3 of them.
Yep. So I probably should have just put down a proxy base and figured this out myself if my goal was to not let this happen. But, it is what it is. I should have just spread out more by like overcompensating because those bears don't need to be in command in order to score like that zone. Because I mean, not command, but like once they kill the leader, like the command shrinks down, but I could just keep the leader far up and then the bears back further. So it'd be harder for you to do that. But it was just an unfortunate positioning deal.
And I'm outside of charge threat, so I would need a warpath move. And then I realized, like, I'm not going to be able to berserk through bears because they're armor 19. So, like, even if they weren't, like, in that perfect circle there, what I would have to do is charge the front guy, warp strength, kill, then warpath in and get the other ones. Mm-hmm. So like that was still an option because I think I'm gonna have to warp strength on these guys. Like POW 17 at dice -2. Like
Yeah, it might take a couple swings to get them.
Yep.
Because they sit at 8 boxes. So
yep. And then there, so I believe I did the damage roll and like I failed the break armor on that long rider.
yeah, the long rider's sitting pretty spiffy up here.
Yep. And then the weird walks around to stay engaged with that front guy, and I realized since the charge, he's in the rear arc of the other one, so I don't really have to stay engaged with him, but I realize if I kill this first one and then he's out of my melee range or gunfighter range, I'd be shooting into melee. So there I shoot the full health one, and then I boost damage for 4 dice with Purgation.
Yep, and he does not make it.
Nope. I do
So
I do my Warpath move here?
It's like the perfect thing to happen to him considering he whiffed his slam.
Yep. And then the follow-up attack only did a couple points. Because I don't really have any way to heal the weirds in this list outside shifting stones. And then there I Warpath forward just to stay engaged with that champ.
Yep, you don't want to take the free strike from him because
God, no.
if I just scalpel your spirit, then that's it.
Yeah. Weapon Master boosts the dice -5 doesn't sound good. Weird shoots the second one that he's engaged with. And then I think I asked if you want to Dhunian it. Or no, he's out.
Yeah, I think he's out of the Dhunian Archon, but the first shot I think might have actually missed even.
It hit, I just didn't do well.
Oh, didn't do a lot of
So I had to
damage.
take the second shot and third shot and I boosted damage.
Yep, so he's out of there too. So like that was like missing the charges on that weird, or not missing the charge, but like not messing with the slam or not being able to get 2 charges on him with killing that original wolf back there, or Wolf of Orboros, was real harsh.
Yep. And then he Warpaths back, because that's also another cool trick with Warpath. You can move up, shoot, and then back up.
Yeah, it's like your pseudo refuge.
Basically. And then there we're measuring if Lord of Feast shoots the objective, if he can, with his nerfed 1-inch Wiffle Bat, if he can maybe Thresher and catch those 3, and then we do see he can catch the objective, the stone itself, a grunt, and then the Elder.
Yep, and that's really unfortunate for me. Like, there's no reason why the Elder and the Stone... Well, the Stone can be where it wants to, but no reason why the Elder needs to be that far up. I really like getting +2 strength on champions or long riders is really powerful for this list, mostly because Jarl doesn't bring anything to buff their damage at all. So having that would have been nice to keep around, but unfortunately, the Lord of Feast is still getting people.
So Kromac is doing some work now. He's going to cast a Rift, which let me tell you, in all the games I've played Kromac, I've casted maybe 3 times ever. He boosts the hit, he boosts damage, and then I was trying to bait out the Dhunian, and I think I rolled like box cards.
It was real rough. I think we ended up having...
I did 11 damage at dice -4.
Yep, so I end up, I want Skaldi to be there. He has a decent area of denial with the reach weapon and just being in the middle of the zone. So I end up transferring it to kill a couple champions, and then Skaldi takes the overfill.
Yeah, he took 3.
3. Because those other champions took a couple damage in the early part of the game. So like I said, I feel like Skaldi hanging around was more important right now. So I didn't mind just zapping those other 2 trolls.
And then there, Kromac is feeding for 7. And if you don't know what Kromac's feed is, he can immediately take up to 7 damage, gain that much fury, and then shapeshift into his beast form.
Yeah, he's like a bad butcher.
Yeah, he has probably the worst fury replenishing feat. Because he half-held himself for this. But now I'm going through... I've cast the spell before, and I feeded before moving. So now that I've feeded pre-movement, I can walk and jump to engage all 3 champs in the zone.
Yep.
And then my plan is he can only cast Animai spells while in beast form, and I had to use Call there because I couldn't find my beast form because I was like, I've never feeded with Kromac offensively if it's not to kill a caster.
Yeah.
And with you measuring 13 inches, you're never going to get there. So there, Kromac is punching some champs.
Yeah, Jarl's pretty good at dodging the assassination threat from Kromac.
Yeah, it used to be more of a gotcha in Mark II because it's can I maybe get there? So there, now I'm proccing Warpath to get the Stalker in that zone in charge threat of the last Long Rider.
Yep, and I think the 2 champions that were up there end up going down, and then Skaldi's just kind of on borrowed time right now.
Yep, because I believe you're going to Dhunian one of these attacks into him because my Fury is there next to my Warpath token. Because Beast Form Kromac can't upkeep spells, so that's why I stayed in Human Form first. And then, there you Dhunian it. So I have to buy an attack. Kromac in beast form is only a POW 14, so like it's not the end of the world, but it's not the best.
Yeah.
Like, so there, Skaldi does not tough, so I'm sitting on 2.
Yep, and I really would have liked to have toughed here just to kind of pull another Fury off of Kromac, because I think that one of the options that I have with Kromac feeding is that I have enough POW in my shooting to maybe get Kromac.
Yeah, that's the problem. If Kromac gets offensive, I didn't point it out, but after I killed the first one, because with Sanguine Bond it gets weird, he did not transfer all the damage, so Kromac was the one that killed him, not Sanguine Bond, so I immediately cast Sprint for 1 as soon as I killed that first one, just in case Sanguine Bond screwed me on not being able to sprint back.
Yeah, I feel like it was going to be really hard for me the way you were rolling to make Sanguine Bond shut off sprint, so I just let the first one go.
I would have had to roll like exactly to the box for what you had left.
Yep.
So Kromac's sitting back there camping 2. Stalker goes up, charges, boosts the hit over the wall, but he's in the butt.
Yeah, so it's still just a 12.
Yep, so I just need a 6. I warp strength, and then
I do tough.
Yep, so I had the buy and attack.
Oh, yeah, I tough, and then you just say buy, and then you just auto get him.
And then I can lightning strike for free because the theme gives all war beasts -1 on their animus cost, which does include constructs now. Originally PP said no. Originally the docket said all war beasts, and then PP released a statement saying no, it's just living. But then Bulldog made a ruling like 3 months ago saying yes, it's all war beasts. So now even the constructs get -1 cost. And then there I'm nudging stuff, just measuring in. So I go in, and that's when I realize, like, wait, these guys are basically, I'm dice damage, and they got 8 boxes, so I got a warp strength.
Yep. Which means that you're going to be running hot on Fury.
Yep. Wild Aggression lets me charge for free, and I get boosted hit. So the charge attack kills. I got no one to take my fist into, so that was a mistake. I think if I had just charged the front guy with my fist and then warpathed in, that would have got me to attack. So I didn't kill the back guy, or I missed one of these. Yep, missed that one. Hits, dice damage, failed is tough.
And then this was like your Hail Mary one where you've got to hit him and you've got to kill him.
Yep. Because like I'm dice +4. Like,
yeah.
If I hit, it's kill. It's just like your tough checks.
The tough checks might wonk that up a little bit.
Luckily, they were really. So then I can lightning strike for free because now it costs 0.
Yep.
So even though I'm full, so I decided to engage the bomber.
Yep. And this kind of made. I think you were worried about Kromac on this one because 2 bombers hitting him
would murder him.
Yep.
Like he's 15-17 in beast form with 2 camp, but he's on 10 boxes now because I had the feat for 7.
Yep. And one of the easiest ways to kill Warpwolves is just set them up as a transfer target.
Yep. But at least in this way, like Kromac and the Warpwolves have the same armor.
Yeah, I guess I'm not really gaining anything.
So Lord of the Feast went up, rolled a 3 to hit the objective, luckily.
Yeah.
Teleported back there, and then we're just doing some Grievous Wound threshers.
Yeah, Grievous Wound nasty times, because like I can't even keep the stone up here with Grievous Wounds because the stone, like it doesn't just like push the damage off to someone else. It's just like I'm gonna kill this guy to heal the stone.
Yeah, it's basically self-sack.
Yeah. So the stone, I lose 3 guys, including my my elder, which is a bummer, but it's not the end of the universe, I think.
No. And then that does turn off the stone aura for the turn.
Yep, and that's the real unfortunate thing, because the Dire Troll Mauler is the one that I was really worried about with that, and I'm still worried about because Ghetorix is right across from him. So no stone means that Ghetorix should really just not have too many issues killing the Mauler.
And then Lord of the Feast bought an attack on the objective and boosted,
Yep.
and they decided to hold on to 1. And then there we're measuring Ghetorix Rex moving up to see, just making sure he can get around the obstruction. He already warpathed, but his bond is overtake.
Mm-hmm.
So I measure it so I can walk 6, get my 1 inch on the objective because it's only got 5 boxes left after Lord of the Feast plunked it.
Yeah, you don't really need a charge here, so you're trying to save yourself the fury.
Yep. And then Gorax goes up, primals him because I'm like, he's still a Warpwolf. Like I think I'm good if I can kill this Mauler. There's nothing really there that can touch Ghetorix.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, I've lost my champions, lost my long riders, so, like, I'm getting to the point in the list where there's not a whole lot that can really start taking out these heavies. Like,
because your heavies can one round my heavies.
Oh, yeah, easy peasy. Like, they just need to connect, like, 2, maybe 3 times, and then they're dead with rage.
Yep.
Like, it's not a big deal.
So Ghetorix walks up, bites the objective, kills it, because he's got +4 strength right now from primal and I think I rolled exactly enough to kill it. So I overtake, take my axe, POW 21, no stone, so dice +3.
Yep.
And I think we're looking up to see if the Stone Aura is still up. Or
Yeah, trolls are. I played a ton of them in Mark II, but like they've changed so much over the years that like it's still rough for me to remember how everything is supposed to work with them. So I was like, I don't think it goes down. But then there's the tactical tip that says it does, and I was like, okay, well,
yep,
he's a dead Mauler.
Because like if he has it, it's iffy for me because I had to waste an attack on the objective. But then luckily the tactical tip is in my favor for once.
Yeah.
So I take my big sword, I hit. My damage rolls aren't. They were average.
They were average, yeah, but you only need, on average, I think you only need like 3 and maybe 1 good one out of that to do it. And based on my track, it looks like you roughed up.
It took 4 attacks.
Yeah, he took like, the first 2 attacks took out a aspect each, and then the last one left him on 2, and then the final attack, or the one before the last one left him on 2, and then the final attack took him out easy. So
yep, and then he put up Spiny Growth for free to replace Primal. And then while we're doing the transition here, even though rules is written, like when you replace an Animi, even if you cast a new one on a model that had Primal and Primal expires, you still Auto Frenzy, even though like it shouldn't, but they've ruled that it does just because you need to downside the Primal, I guess.
Yeah, it's like the weird timestamp.
Yep.
So I think that some of the things that I'm looking at right now is that Rage is gone, so trying to kill that Warpwolf that's engaging my bomber is going to be tough now. Jarl, for everything that he's good for, he doesn't really have a lot of late game commitment to trying to do these heavy takeouts. Like a lot of the other Trollblood casters at least have a POW 12, POW 13 weapon, but Jarl's just like rocking a sword named Axe that does POW 10.
I mean, he's got the POW 12 gun that he can boost.
Yeah, but that's only 2 shots, whereas like I could get my whole stack of attacks on with another caster with a weapon.
That's true, but he can do it from 16 inches away at least with Black Penny.
Mm-hmm. So the easy thing right here is to just take out that Wolf of Orboros so that I don't have to give up these points anymore, because you scored 2 points that turn because you cleared the middle objective, actually 3, because you killed the objective, cleared the middle zone, cleared the top zone, and had that one stupid wolf that was in there that I should have killed. So easy peasy to do that first. Next up, I have the Fellcaller charge the Warpwolf on the bomber, and he does a pretty decent chunk of damage for being a POW 10 weapon master.
Yeah, he does like 8 damage between his 2 attacks, which is basically 1/3 healthing a stalker almost, which I was like, at this point, I was like, I thought I could survive a bomber, but I'm like, once you did that, I'm like,
yeah. He helps me get a little bit there. So my next thing is to get rid of this Lord of Feast just so I can just not have to worry about it anymore. So I end up using the stone to charge it. And I didn't think that they were going to get it in one fell shot here because I didn't have the Fellcaller boost up their ability to hit, and they're only POW 10s. But they end up spiking some rolls, and my very last one ends up missing his attack and not doing anything. So, or either that or the damage roll wasn't that great.
You left him on 3.
Yeah, somebody screwed up somewhere and left him on 3. So now it's
he only has 1 corpse, so he's only armor 17.
Mm-hmm. So now the Dhunian Archon gets to go up, and I didn't want to unpack her into the Lord of the Feast. I would have rather put her somewhere else. But she ends up killing it, so now I don't have to deal with that anymore. And
she is in the zone too, so
yeah,
like
it's something. But then we talk about it a little bit, and I forget that tactical supremacy is on that unit, so eventually I end up moving one into the zone, just
so Ghetorix auto frenzies on it, because primarily he's gonna auto frenzy, and right now it would be the Dhunian,
and I don't want that to happen.
No. And we realized like you could have just repoed a guy that'd be in his way.
Yep, there was just a lot going on here, and I think like it's at this point that I think it's at this point that I start to realize that my best leverage here is no longer attrition. I haven't done anything to your battle group really, and you've kind of taken off a lot of my options that can kill the battle group. So I need to start trying to leverage time because you're down to 9 minutes, and I know how you play Circle.
Yeah, I play slow. I'm a sloppy mess when it comes to clock.
So I'm just like, if I can do something, like if I can get rid of one Warpwolf, like that's something to like kind of balance this out a little bit. So the bomber goes in and starts punching on that Warpwolf. I think we figure out that maybe it should be able to take it out. Like Ethan's pretty confident it takes it out, but I know how bombers hit you, and it's horribly. So I need to boost hit and try to boost damages. But
yeah, his
like,
problem was I thought he was Mat 7 because he's a troll, but like
no.
he missed an attack, and that's why I'm like, I think I live.
No, Mat 7 is where like the upper echelon of troll blood war beasts are. Like we don't get Mat 7 anything. So
Circle has like one non-character Mat 7 war beast, so
I don't think we have any non-character. All of them are characters, and I think Ruck and Mug are just Mat 7. We don't have Mat 8.
yeah, Circle doesn't either.
I mean, I'll take it that the Mountain King is not Mat 5 anymore, but the last time I put a Mountain King on the table was Mark 2. So Jarl ends up having to get into the business now, and I can't remember exactly what my goal. Well, my goal was to try and kill the Warpwolf with shooting, and much in the same fashion as the bomber, Jarl is just not eating his Wheaties and leaves him on 2 boxes.
No, he's got a full system up. His spirit's still up, and his minder's still up. You left 1 box in his mind. His body's out, and he's got like 5 boxes in his spirit.
Yeah, so not super great. The Mauler or the bomber not showing up for work was real rough for that.
Yep, him missing that boosted 8 was big.
Yep, real hard stuff.
If that connects, your dice -2, and like that's why I was like, Warpwolves are made of tissue paper if you can hit them.
Yeah. So I've also committed my Runebearer to the other zone just as another contesting piece.
Yep. This is the turn I'd like to call how fast can I do frenzy checks?
Yeah, with
because I got fury everywhere.
9.5 minutes, and frenzies can take quite a bit of time.
Yep.
Like when you're that low, I think people don't realize the real risk of fury when you're playing on a timed game is really the frenzies.
Yep. Because that stalker in the top zone had 3, the bottom one had 4. So like I pulled in the 4 from the bottom one, pulled in 1 from the top one. So Ghetorix auto frenzies, auto warps warp strength, charges, hits that dude, he toughs. That stalker fails. Luckily, warp strength charges the bear that ran to a gauge, and I think rolls boxcars.
He blows it up, and that bear's just gone.
Yep. And then the Gorax frenzies, he punches the objective, but luckily he didn't have the distance for a charge and does, I think, 2 points.
Just 2 damage, yeah, and then you healed the objective for 1.
Yep.
So like the Gorax did some work at least.
And then I reverted back to human Kromac because I need the upkeeps. I'm a lot more vulnerable because he's only 15-14 in this version. There I'm measured weird if I could aim. And I think it's just how well I realize is in shoot range of the Rune Shaper.
Yeah,
So-
it's just barely there too. So like I probably could have pulled him back a little bit if I were more cognizant of that threat range, because like I feel like the well is a free attack at this point.
Yep.
Because I can deny it really easily, and just
then
letting you
I
get
think I was trying to
value
bait
was
out the
not good.
Dhunian, but I
Yeah.
think you were saving it.
I was saving it for I think a bear or
Yeah, I think
I
the
think
bear.
I was saving it for the doo-doo, maybe towing the zone. I'm not sure. I thought I was saving it for something.
Yep. So there, the weird aims, shoots down that guy. Warpath moves the stalker that frenzied up behind the obstruction just to be a little bit more safer. And as you can see, my clock is just ticking down.
Yeah, it's rolling down. real
Kromac
fast.
goes, he heals originally just enough to get the body up, but then I'm like, screw it, I heal 4 because now I'm camping 1. So that stalker's fully functioning. Measuring kill box, Kromac just walks.
He runs.
Yeah, he runs. He runs behind that obstruction because you can heal and run, and you can ditch and run.
And that's you're in your vulnerable form, and Jarl has the potential to probably get Kromac through that 1 transfer right now.
Yep.
So you got to be really careful about what you're doing here.
And then there, the Stalker's attack and warp strength with wild aggression. You are in stone range, unfortunately, like just barely.
Yep, just barely.
And my damage rolls were atrocious. I rolled like a 3 for damage at dice +2.
Yep, I thought
Or dice -1.
I thought this
3
bomber,
times.
Yeah, I thought this bomber was super dead, but he ended up scathing by the skin of his teeth.
Yep. So 6 attacks into him, and I think I crippled one system.
No, you crippled two aspects on him, but he's still pretty. Oh no, you got 2. Yeah, 2.
So if I had rolled like anything better on those damage rolls,
yeah, it would have been way different. And me having access to that bomber means I actually have options going into these late turns, and I'm really up on clock over you, so I can start leveraging that time.
yeah, it's scary because I scored nothing. So what's your plan with your 12-minute clock advantage?
Yeah, I know it's
so bad.
Yep, it's the rich get richer over here. So the big thing for me is to just try and put things into places where they're difficult to deny. That Woldwyrd existing is really unfortunate because the bear is just like a sitting duck over there. So I move him over, and I decide that the next thing I need to do, I don't know. I think I was attacking with the Dhunian or something. I don't know. I was rolling a bunch of dice, and I don't know why.
I think you were just rolling them to roll them because that's what you do.
Maybe, yeah. That's like it's not a nervous tick or anything. It's just like I like to fiddle with dice when I'm just sitting there. So now the fell color, I think, goes in. Oh, Jarl goes in. I'm going to try and shoot off the Warpwolf because then I don't have to waste the activation of the bomber to get it. And I think we end up getting it.
Yeah, with 2 boosts, you quickened yourself, you moved over so you had the distance to get in the zone, and then you boosted your 2 damage shots, and I think you boosted, so you're camping 0, but you murdered that Warpwolf.
Yep, and my goal with that is to be able to score the zone with Jarl, and I'm hoping that I get real lucky with the bomber and kill the stone, and then hope to bounce in to kill the objective too. So the stone goes down real easy, and then the objective ends up getting crushed.
Yeah,
too.
you explode damage on that, and that just dies.
And then this is where I get to be a dumb and not do blast damage on the Gorax because it actually can do damage.
Oh yeah, dice -8.
Yep. So there's something that could happen there, but I'm full, so I can't boost it. So maybe it wouldn't have done much of anything. So I awaken the stone, move those guys around a little bit just to kind of pinch Ghetorix in and make sure that he doesn't go anywhere important. So also making sure I block line of sight to the Dhunian Archon so that she can run over to the zone to be another contesting piece, and I end up scoring 2 this turn and then pass it over to Ethan.
You score, objective in the zone, so it's 3-3. Operation Clear the Zones and Don't Clock in 3 minutes. So there I tried to see if one of those stone guys was in the Dhunian range. Weird, activates, aims, shoots the Dhunian. Aiming to an 8. I just need like 7s to hit her behind the wall.
Yeah, it's not terrible. She's
I need 9s. I hard rolled the first 9 hit, boosted
and
damage.
Then hard rolled again, and then you just roasted her in 2 shots. Even enough to do whatever. Stalker's going in.
Yep,
and
Kromac put wild aggression on it.
Yeah.
And then it charged, boost the hit.
Bear's just going down. Not a whole lot left in that zone to do anything.
Yep. It casts Lightning Strike, and then with its Warpath move there. Get a Saurus Rex, warp Murderous, so he's mat 7, and I just start buying attacks.
Yep, and these guys go down pretty quick. There's not much for them sticking around.
And I was low on clock, so I should have been overtaking. So there I do my overtake, and then I measure my Warpath move, and I'm just out of range to engage him. So if I had done my overtakes, I could have engaged the bomber.
Yep, and that would not be good.
And then I put up Spiny Growth, Gorax Ran. Both Shifting Stones go to contest, because I know I'm not going to score that zone. And then I flip with barely a minute left. But I scored 2.
cut Ethan off, but he was going to say it's 5-3 now. And I'm legitimately worried because I don't have a lot of contesting pieces anymore, and the scenario could easily get away from me. I think I've got some time here to screw around. I do some math. And
Yeah, you got 11 minutes on me.
Yeah, I thought I was okay if I just kind of like scored one zone and contested the other one, and then realized that that is not the way that that's going to work because of the scoring that happens at the end of my turn as well. So I first unpacked this plan by charging the Fellcaller into a stone, and he takes it out. I would have liked to have gotten him in both of them, but I couldn't quite get it with the way the charge angle was going to work. So now it's up to Jarl to kind of like... I'm debating a lot on how I'm going to unpack this. I need to stay away from Ghetorix, but I also need to do damage to the things that are in the zone right now because I don't think the bomber... Like, I'm really not feeling the bomber right now because he's... First of all, I need to heal him a bunch. And second, he whiffed so hard in the last round against that Stalker that I'm just like not super confident in him. So I end up...
Or you don't need to heal him anymore because I didn't do any more attacks into him after he killed... Because you healed him up.
Oh, yeah, I healed him to kill, and then now it's just Jarl trying to figure out what he's going to do.
Yeah, because you got 3 miles to activate.
Yep. So we just end up moving Jarl as far away from Ghetorix as possible.
And then you put Weld Secrets up.
Yep, and Weld Secrets on the bomber so that he can get through the puddle there. But I think I'm debating, like, do I put Magic Bullet up or do I do a bunch of boosting all over the place? I figure the math out, and I have enough to get Magic Bullet up and boost where I need to boost and feel confident with crushing the damage. So Magic Bullet doesn't do anything to the Gorax.
Yep.
But I end up boosting damage on the stone and get it. So now I can take my normal shot into the Gorax and boost damage, and it does a pretty decent amount.
Yeah, like you almost
it was
half health.
Dice off 6 or something like that.
Dice off 4.
And it did like 8 or 9 damage or 10, something like that. So the bomber moves into this zone, and he's going to start pitching bombs at the Gorax.
I liked how you planned out the Fury by putting it focus.
I put it on there like...
and then you pulled
it away.
And then
I pulled it away, yeah. I've just been... This is my...
And you missed the bomb.
Yeah, so this was a real bummer. I thought like I needed a 6 to hit, but it was a 7, and I really should have boosted that hit, but I didn't. So I miss, and I scatter into not far enough to get anywhere far away. So I boost blast damage and do a little bit of work to him. The next bomb connects.
He's on 11 boxes.
Yep, and at dice damage, I roll 10. 1 damage.
Yep.
That's what he's got on him. So unfortunately, I can't do anything about that. There's nothing left in the tank for me. So I have to just end my turn here, and then Ethan scores 1.
So I go to 5.
And then I don't score anything.
No, I go to 6.
So it's I thought it was 3 to 5.
Yep, 3 to 5.
Yep.
I go to 6. And then you stay at 3.
Exactly.
Can I win it in a minute? So we start the clock. I ditch my upkeeps, I think, at this point because I don't care. Get a Source Rex, walks up, warp strength, toes his zone just to be safe. And then...
Yeah, just one hit takes out that bomber. So
I forgot he was hurt, so I thought like I was going to have to spend my whole activation. Stalker runs over to that zone. Kromac runs around. Weird runs around. I toe that zone. I score. I go to 8.
Yep, so that's enough to take me out. And I think there are a couple points where this game really went rough my way. First of all, I think I lost too many guys for not a whole lot of gain because of the way I utilized my feet. The second part was not using Magic Bullet to kill that Wolf of Orboros, because if you pay attention throughout the whole video, that Woldwyrd on the top portion of the screen just wrecks everything in there. And if I get 2 Long Riders to go into that thing charging, that's 2 boosted POW 14s and 2 normal POW 14s, I think that just roasts that Weird, and then the Long Riders are allowed to live a little longer and start to really take over that side of the table. The other business was the bomber, I think, just having a horrible time. Also, if I would have just rolled a 9 on that blast damage with that Gorax, it would have been dead, and I wouldn't have had to commit that bomber the way that I had to.
Well, I mean, the bomber had to move up to contest my zone.
It did, but then I could have like done something like jam up Ghetorix so he doesn't get to contest my zone, and you don't have anything on that bottom zone to contest me anymore other than running a Woldwyrd in.
Yeah.
So I had some opportunities to flip that game the other way, but if I kill that wolf, then you wouldn't have scored that zone, and I wouldn't have lost it right now. And
Well, if you had killed that wolf, that's what those shifting stones were waiting for.
yeah, I guess there's
Like, they were literally hiding in the woods to teleport into the zone to score it, just like those ones on the bottom were just waiting behind that cloud just to go in and score, because they don't do anything else. Like, they could heal the Woldwyrds, but your infantry hits so hard, you're going to one-round them.
yeah.
And, like, it's...
Yeah, there were still just a couple points that could have gone a little bit differently for me that would have really warped the game in a big way, I think. And those were just a couple of them, that Woldwyrd being probably the biggest one.
Yep, that Woldwyrd, if he goes down, that top zone is a lot more questionable, because, like, he was printing money up there. He killed, like, what, 3 Long Riders by himself.
Exactly,
A Dhunian, I think another dude. Like, with Purgation and your upkeeps, like, he was just printed, but you needed those upkeeps.
I needed it. Well, I didn't. I needed it on them for the first charge, and then that was all they were good for.
Yeah.
So
I guess maybe you could have cycled Weld Secrets, but Jarl was always spending his Fury boosting and, like, putting other spells up in magic bullets.
that's why I think Jarl's, like, good in this theme. Like, he becomes a good warlock in this theme, because any other theme he's trash, because he just can't do everything he wants to and always has to pick one thing to do. Like, do I shuffle an upkeep and then commit to doing something in the game, or do I put out a couple upkeeps to make sure that my units can do stuff? But, like, this thing essentially just makes him a Fury 9 warlock, and at that point he becomes really good.
Yep. And then, like, the free magic bullets on himself from the Rune Shaper, like, it's just, like, it's a solid theme. Like, free upkeeps is real nice. Like, one of my complaints about Kromac one was, like, the Kromacs, when they did Tharnsid, they skipped over they said, like, no, we're not going to do the Kromacs even though they're Tharn. Like, if Kromac had just, like, 1 or 2 small tweaks, I would love him way more. But, like, right now he's just, like, he can't shapeshift anymore when he gets damaged. So, like, he's stuck in 15-14, or he shapeshifts and he can't cast spells.
Yeah.
And then, like, if he had Resourceful and his feet didn't rely on him killing himself, like, I'd be way thrilled. Like, it's just those little tweaks.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of fluff that's baked into his character, and he just hasn't transitioned well into Mark III.
No,
he's
like,
one of those. I feel like there's the if Mark III's a train, there's, like, all the warcasters and warlocks are on it, and, like, there's definitely some people riding in first class because of how Mark III treated them, but Kromac is definitely one that is, like, sitting on the caboose, or maybe he's, like, riding one of those little rail cars that you, like,
it's
push
just up and down, up and down.
And then every Infernal Master is, like, running ahead of the train on a monorail.
They're basically just carrying the train on their backs at that point.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this battle report. I'm looking back to getting to the regular schedule, even though we missed one. But
it still felt weird. I didn't like it.
I know, I'm missing 1 week of a game. It always sucks when you miss a game night, which this is kind of like our new game night with Corona World. But
and I'm hoping for our next report maybe to show off some Melvin and Mayhem jank.
Yeah, that'll be there. I know that we've got a Minions versus Legion one to knock out soon, so that'll be something to keep forward into the future. But I think I might do Fiora 4 in the next battle report. Like, I've got everything to run her, so might try it out. I'm not sure. We'll figure it out.
I played into her a couple times in Menoth, and, like, those updates they did to her, like, pre-update, I'd say she was hot garbage.
Yeah.
But, like, the Scorn update, getting Road to War, like, she's really cool and unique in Menoth now. I don't know, like, if it's enough to upseat, like, those A-class, S-class casters in Menoth, but, like, she's really solid and she's really cool.
Yeah, she's fun. I mean, in Infernals, I think in a pairing, she doesn't quite fit unless you're doing double hearts. But, like, you kind of have her on the same level of, like, she's comparable to Zadaroth, and I think Zadaroth will just win that move every time.
Yeah, that's the problem, I guess, with her competing with Masters, is the Masters just come out on top, and then, like, she's competing for the Heart of Darkness slot with, like, Sloane, my boy Gaston.
Yeah, I still think Fiora 3 is probably one of the, like, if Sloane, like, we'll pretend Sloane is, like, just the worst thing in the universe that I can't even compare because she's just gross like that. But I do think Fiora 3 is probably the best Hearts caster outside of that.
I love Fiora 3 in Hearts, and, like, she has my favorite spell in the game, Molten Metal. I don't know why. Like, the spell is so bad, but, like, it's literally my favorite spell, and she can cast it, what, 4 times?
Yep, 4 times and not put up Insight,
That's
which is the whole
secret
reason you take her.
Yeah, that's how you beat Striker 1. You literally Molten Metal their Colossal on your feet 4 times.
Take that. armor 27.
Yeah. Oh, armor 27. Screw you. Take 24 damage for free.
It's 28, I think, isn't it?
No, it's 6. It does
no,
6,
I mean
6,
20,
6.
28 armor.
Yeah, 28 armor.
Yeah, 3 plus 8, and they're 20.
Yep. Take 24 damage for free, just because I feel like it. It's so funny. I love it.
Yeah, it's a good time.